Hi, so I'm told I'm inspirational, and I've only really begun to think about it because I get told it quite a lot actually, and it struck me as odd. I mean, it struck me as odd because I'm a human being and I've never really thought about it, but that's what I'm told. And I've given it some real thought recently because somebody asked me, Rob, how do you inspire people? And I thought, okay, there's two ways of looking at that. How do I personally do it, or how do you do it in general? And I thought I'd approach it by, how do you do it in general? So it's taken me quite a while to answer this question because I did have to think about this pretty hard, actually. And I've come up with a few things that I think are, well, pointers, really. And I think the first one is you have to care. I mean, you have to genuinely care about your fellow man. And I think that's pretty easy for most people because, as I've said many times, people are a distribution. People are a bell curve of things. And whenever you pick something, most people sit in that middle. And to me, I have a Rousseau-esque notion that people are basically good. And I 100% believe that. When you find people at one end who are saints, and you find people at the other end who are demons, but I think the people at the other end are actually just misguided, and underneath it all are basically good. And I can hear some people shuddering at that one, thinking I'm talking rubbish. But that's what I believe. And I think if you're going to inspire people, you have to genuinely care about people. Like another key pointer is enthusiasm. You actually have to be interested in what it is that you're doing and what it is that you're involved in and be enthusiastic about it. And I think it comes across quite strongly in the videos. I have a ton of enthusiasm for what I do. So being genuinely enthusiastic leads to that cliche, of course. Enthusiasm is catching, and it's a cliche because it's true. If you're enthusiastic, you find other people being enthusiastic about you, and you can inspire that enthusiasm in people. The next thing I was thinking about was trust. When you say something, do people actually believe in what you say? And of course, trust is one of those things that takes a huge amount to build. It takes a long time to build it, and it can be shattered overnight. So to earn people's trust, really, you have to do your best not to lie. I mean, how difficult is that? Don't get involved in bitching about stuff, backbiting people, lying about stuff that's trivial anyway. Just say it like it is, do what you're going to do, and be upfront about stuff, and you will find over time trust will build. And I'm told that I'm pretty trustworthy on YouTube because I do my best. I mean, I care about the stuff that I do. I have a lot of enthusiasm about what I do, and I do my best to present stuff to you so you can see it in a transparent way. It's not that I'm trying to prove anything or sell snake oil, it's just, here it is, this is what happened, and there you go. And of course, quite a lot of the things are fairly trivial to check anyway, so I'd be as dumb as a coconut if I bothered to lie about such stuff. So I don't lie about the trivial. And you'll find that trust will build over time. And I think trust is actually a key element. It's easy to criticise people, isn't it? And you find it in the comments all the time. People will put some things down like this is trash, it's simple physics, all that sort of stuff. And I think that, it's because they've not really thought about it. And all you have to do is think for a second, how would you feel if you were criticised or put down? I mean, nobody likes it. So if you're going to be critical of people all of the time, of course you're not going to build that trust and earn that confidence and be able to inspire, because you're just going to be down on people all the time. So being positive, I think, is very different from being enthusiastic. I think you have to remember that if you want to criticise, you should do it in a positive way. It's how I try to do it. I mean, I'm not a saint myself, so I can get it wrong plenty of times, but it is how I try to do it. I say things like, that's very interesting, but maybe you would like to think about this. Oh, that's cool, have you thought about this? Rather than, that's pile of crap, don't do that. And I think that harsh language isn't really criticism, because criticism, to my mind, is meant to improve. And if you're criticising to help somebody, you're criticising to improve something, then do it in a positive way. It's not that difficult. So be positive about what it is that you're saying. And of course, if your life is kind of harsh and cold and you are a critical character, you are going to criticise. And criticism may be a way of justifying your own way of looking at things, but it certainly isn't going to be a way that you inspire other people. Nobody likes to be criticised. Everybody likes to be helped. So make your criticism helpful. be positive in the way that you put it. Kind of linked to that is this idea of building people up. When somebody comes in and they're looking a little ropey and you go, my God, that's an awful dress, how good do you think they're going to feel? Try it. Just a quick, simple test. Try it. The next time you run into a random person, say for instance you're buying something in the store, just take a second to say to the person who's serving you, have you done something with your hair? You'll find a surprised look and they'll look at you and go, oh, well, it looks particularly nice today. And you'll see a genuine smile on that person's face. It may or may not have done something. You go, no, it's just normal. Well, it looks lovely. And you'll see them smile. You will actually just see them genuinely smile because you've done this tiny, tiny act of kindness. And how difficult is it to do that tiny act of kindness? When you stand somewhere, you're in a queue, somebody's got two things behind you and the queue's huge, you're like, let them go in front of you. It's just a tiny act of kindness that builds people up, makes the world a hell of a lot better place, and actually begins to be a habit in you. And when you do that as part of your personality, that's actually, I think, what begins to inspire people. So the next 2 points actually are kind of in contradiction to each other, because the first thing is stand your ground. I mean, you believe in what you believe in, and with those beliefs, be firm about them, stand your ground, defend them, and all that sort of stuff. But equally, you have to be able to challenge yourself and challenge your own ideas and change your ideas if those ideas are shown to be absolute nonsense. Now, there are a whole group of people who are particularly bad at challenging themselves, and those are experts. Now, I am actually an expert. I'm an expert in chemistry, actually carbon chemistry. And I know that when you're an expert at something, the dearly held ideas tend to just be theories. They're just theories about things. So holding those out to be truths is in itself, to me, the wrong thing to do. You have to understand it's a theory. And even though you act on it and you believe in it, you have to accept it when it's being challenged. And of course, that's really difficult because, you know, I've spent 50 years doing that. And if somebody comes and tells me something that goes against that, my first response is a knee-jerk reaction of what a load of rubbish. It takes me a little while to be able to challenge myself and understand that I don't know everything. And I don't know everything. I know very little about lots of things and a lot about very little. But I certainly don't know everything. And being challenged is uncomfortable, but you have to be able to challenge yourself as well as stand up and defend yourself for things that you truly believe in. Perhaps the easiest way to reconcile that, of course, is admit your flaws. I mean, you're a human being. You're not perfect in everything you do. Nobody is. You make mistakes, you do the wrong thing, you get up in a bad mood. People have flaws. Admit that you have flaws and that you're not Mr. Perfect. And when somebody's doing something different to you, well, hey, it may be the best thing. Maybe you've got it wrong. Maybe you're in a bad mood that day. Whatever it is that is your personal flaw, and I've got quite a few of them. One thing, obviously, is I smoke too much. You need to admit your personal flaws and realise that you are in fact human. It's why Caesar had a guy behind him whispering in his ear, remember thou art human, because we are all human and we all have flaws, and being able to admit your own flaws to yourself, recognising them and doing something about them, is a long way, or goes a long way, to that reconciliation of those two opposing views. Now, we covered this in kind of, if it's not positive, don't say it, but I wanted to highlight in there, we talked about constructive criticism. If you're going to criticise, make it constructive. Now, when listening to people, this is a well understood one actually, it's called active listening, where you don't just and ah and still read the newspaper and nod your head. When you do those little techniques of active listening to help you understand what somebody's actually saying to you rather than what you think is being said to you. Because communication happens between two people. One person says something, it's received by the other person and interpreted, and what they hear may not necessarily be what was said. You'd only get what was said if you actively listen, and those kind of techniques like repetition, rephrasing, that sort of stuff will help you actually understand people by actively listening to them, and that makes a big difference in their perception of you as well. If you're actively listening and show you understand it, those people will feel listened to. And I suppose part of that is treating everybody equally. It's kind of difficult to do that, oddly enough, and I don't understand why, but I understand that it is, because we think of things like, well, take me and Luke, for instance. Luke is 21, and I'm 60, so I've a lot more experience than Luke, but Luke comes up with ideas and thoughts and ways of doing things I personally have never thought of. And when he does that, I thank him for doing it, because that's part of treating everybody equally. The fact that there's a difference in our age makes no difference, really, to the value of Luke's ideas. When Luke has a good idea, he has a good idea, even though he's 40 years younger. That ageism doesn't exist. The difference between men and women doesn't exist. All these things we think are differences should have no impact when somebody is talking about an idea they have that challenges your ideas or introduces a new idea to you. You need to be able to treat everybody on the same level, irrespective of what you perceive as differences between them, because, to be brutally honest, in my view of the world, there aren't any differences. Now, one thing I perhaps have a bad habit of is I'll talk with confidence about anything. I may not know what I'm talking about, but it certainly doesn't come across in when I talk. I'll talk with confidence whether I know about it or I don't know about it. I also have a habit of being. Now, that makes you a bit of a Marmite person, the kind of people that you either love or you hate. Some people want to knock you down because you think you're overconfident. Some people admire the confidence. But if you want to inspire people, then you have to be confident about things. So when you're talking to people, well, look them in the eye. You don't shuffle around on your feet and mumble. Look them in the eye appropriately, because that's appropriate eye contact, remember. You can't stare at somebody like a maniac, but you occasionally glance in their eyes, you're talking to them, say something pleasant, smile, and do it with confidence. Doing it with confidence makes a huge difference in how you're perceived. And of course, alongside that, stay cool and calm. Just be cool about what it is. Don't be surprised about something. Don't get angry about things. I mean, possibly anger is the worst thing, because it just displays fear. Fear is the thing that leads to anger. Anger is a fear response, showing that you have been attacked and that you're on shaky ground and that you don't like it and that you're afraid you may be challenged somehow. And if you're afraid of things, well, that's not inspiration at all. So staying calm and cool when you meet new ideas or something surprising happens is one of those key elements to it all, actually. Okay, so I think the last two things that I want to talk about are, one, never add insult to injury. If you win an argument, or somebody agrees with you, don't go, aha, told you so. That's just terrible. So avoid doing it. It's easy enough to do. The last thing is, try to help set people free. If you give all of the information and you micromanage people, then they're making no contribution. If you sketch something in outline and you let them fill in the blanks with their own imagination, that is what sets people free. It's also why I spend so much time on the channel where we do videos that are apparently incomplete. The idea is you work on them. You fill in the blanks of your imagination. You think about different ways of doing things. You explore the alternatives and build something that is for you and yours. And you've exercised your creativity, become part of what it is that you're doing. And it's essential to be able to do that. And I do that with Luke all of the time. I'll generally suggest to him how he should go about things, and then I'll let him cut his finger or break something or do it the wrong way or whatever it is. When I say wrong way, inverted commas, guys, okay, a way that doesn't lead to success. That means that he has to work at his own creativity. He has to fill in the blanks and do it himself. And when he gets that success, well, that success is his success, not mine. I've only been a guide. He's got the success, and the success belongs to him. How inspirational is that? So it's a key element, and it's reflected actually in the channel content, that a lot of the things are apparently incomplete. They're incomplete deliberately, so that you fill in the blanks. And if you think about a lot of the way I respond to comments, how it is that I deliver the videos, what kind of things we talk about, I'm sure you can recognise quite a few of the things off that list that I actually proactively do. I didn't think about them until I had to do this video, and then I started recognising those things that I do in the videos as well. So in answer to how do you inspire people, then I would say that it was doing what you can from the things that the list that I've just given in this video. Now, of course, you can't make a change overnight, and you're not going to do all of them. So pick one and practice at it. They say it takes about 10 days to 2 weeks for any behaviour to become habitual. So if you pick one and practice it and try it for a couple of weeks or so, you'll find you just do it. and then go on to the next one. We are biological creatures. Forming habits and doing things is just about repetition, experience, and thinking about it before you do it. Then you'll be able to do those things. Anyway, I was asked to do this video. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it really helped, and thank you very much for all the help you've given me and how I've developed doing this YouTube channel and knowing you guys. And I hope this was of some help to you as well. Anyway, thank you for watching, and please do remember to like and subscribe.